Good afternoon, good evening. I'm Viraji, your tech instructor. I have been going through the knowledge review section of, I found one of the question not being answered. This is from the tech chapter 40, chapter 2. I have two presentations actually, tech 50 and tech 40, both. I'm presenting with starting with tech 40. What is the difference between stage cylinder and decompression cylinder? This is the stage cylinder, which is normal air. It's just to extend the depth, and this is the decompression cylinders. In the application of the knowledge we gained today, we'll be we'll be doing diving tomorrow by the resort. We'll do the following things tomorrow: setting up the tank, labeling the cylinder tank properly, staging cylinders, how to stage, we'll go through, and then decompression cylinders, how to stage them also. We'll see how to attach them also. We'll be doing at by the resort. They have these facilities at the resort, like tank filling area, exit and entry. We can do exercise at 10 meters, underwater exercises. And then I would like to ask the student to go to chapter number 2, page number 118, and then they can read the objective of the page. Okay. And then please kindly interrupt me if there are questions. If I'm fast in my presentation, I would like to happy to be like two-way interactive session. Okay. The primary goal is stage cylinder. It's like, what is the definition actually? It's used to extend the deep portion of the dive. It can be normal air, it can be trimix. Depending upon your calculations of your dive plan. Maybe it's not enough with 2 tanks on the backside. So we take one more extra cylinder to extend the depth portion of the dive. This is decompression cylinders are providing gas. Usually a higher percentage of oxygen is there, helpful during the decompression. When you're coming up to the level where you're going to go for decompression, that's the time when you're going to use the decompression cylinders. Usually they are one on the sides under the arm, clipped at the waist level and chest level. Usually we use decompression cylinders in Tech 40, and not staging, because it's Tech 40 we have only 2 cylinders plus 1 as a nitrox tank. Usually it provides extra gas capacity, option to switch to ANX with higher content for added decompression conservatism. Labeling should have like gas blend, maximum operating depth, diver's name, and it should be done by the diver himself. Large enough and position to the label should be large enough so that your teammates can read them while the cylinder is on. The staging and of deco cylinders are like wearing stacked cylinders on the left side is an option, often used by scootering divers, like who are using the DPV. They can use all on the left side, keep the right side empty. So whenever you're going to use the scooter, the propellers, the wash that goes under the right side into unobstructed under the right arm, to avoid having a deal with keeping the long hose free and to keep their handling procedures uniform on the right side. So that's why most of the time we prefer to put it on the left side. And then right is always, if you're putting deco cylinder on the right side, it should be right rich with high percentage of oxygen, and left lean. And removing staging and cylinders, the process is essentially donning it in a reverse way. First confirm the valve is closed, then tuck all the hoses to avoid them tangling and snagging. Second, unclip the chest steering and then grasp the clip at your hip and release it. With the full-in cylinder, you might find it helpful to hold the strap with one hand while you are wearing it. When wearing multiple cylinders on one side, the cylinder you're going to breathe goes onto the top of the clip. Like first one, you're going to wear like 50 will be on the top, and then the next will be on the lower bottom, like 80 or 100. It goes downwards on the clip. And then removing or staging is essential, the reverse of donning. At the surface, some divers prefer to release at the hip first, and then remove the shoulder on the top later on. Particularly when removing the stage at the surface, you find it easier to release the hip clip before the chest clip. It really doesn't matter in what way you do it, but provided you do it smoothly and effortlessly. Staging cylinders, like you and your teammate should check each other bottles, label to be sure you are staging correctly the cylinders. Place in a secure place, valve closed and stable place. If it is any high current, or you should keep it in a very stable place where that doesn't move your tanks, and it should be properly tied to the bottom. staging and retrieving on the fly. Like sometimes you have too many cylinders when you're going down to extend your bottom depth. In that case, what you have to do is put it where you are going to come back to the same place, same direction where you're coming back. So you remove the tank and put it there. When you're coming back, you take it up and then you go up and then start using the tank. Begin removing the cylinder as you approach the stage point, so you can stop and stage and secure it quickly. Don't need to wait when you're putting on when you take the tank, no need to wait. Just put it to the clip and then start putting onto the hip ring and then start using it. And as you move, you keep on using the tank. When retrieving a cylinder, pick it up and continue swim as you put the cylinders on. When ascending to a deco stop, if you are close to your bottom time and your first stop is shallower than where you are staged, your first deco, don't get behind your ascent time by dawning at the stage depth. So don't worry about the immediately like taking the tank and then clipping and all, but keep moving so you don't miss your time, bottom time. Simply grab the cylinder and clip it to the upper clip to chest ring as you continue upwards. Down completely after reaching a decompressed stop to depth. The examples that we're going to do is tomorrow at the dive site. Applications will be like local dive environment, using of the staging of the cylinders and how to use the decompression cylinders. That we'll do in the open sea. I would like to suggest for the PADI course, after this Tech 40, you can go to this PADI app. This is the app we have. And then you can download the app from the website, either from the Google or on the iPhone. You can have from the App Store. Usually you have this app. This is the app which you can see actually. And then I would like to suggest you go for after this, go to Tech 45. What does it actually have? It's like a learning and reinforcement of the skills, what we learn in 40, going deeper than 40 meters, up to 45 meters, and having deco dives. Also using dive planning softwares, how to use them, how to use appropriately. And then the description about the course is, it should be about have a licensed Tech 40, or at least it should be like plus rescue diver. Minimum 50 dives is mandatory, and then it should be 18 years above, and you should have signed a medical statement from a physician. The promotion is like I would like to suggest to buy for a underwater camera, a P10 hosing. This is aluminum hosing for GoPro 10. And the primary considerations are like function, which is most important for your photography. When you go down, you would like to take photos or videos. Ability to use is very easy. It has only one button. You can on and off. And it has a depth rating up to 250 meters. And it has inbuilt cooling system for the camera, which actually because the GoPro 10 is now, when you use it underwater, it tends to get heat faster, and the battery tends to get used faster. The time is almost like 30 minutes. When you use the system, it will give you around 45 to 1 hour of recording for yourself.
So it's it's more than enough for our next deep dive.
Yes. The conclusion is a stage cylinder is used to extend the deep portion of the dive, whereas the decompression cylinder provides gas using a higher percentage of oxygen, helpful during the decompression process. I would like to suggest to go for the Tech 45 after this course, and don't forget to buy underwater camera hosing. And then in addition, we have a Leopold 5-day trip to Yanbu and back to Jeddah, cruising starting from the Blue Reef Divers Jeddah. If anyone interested, please give your names in advance, so we can do like 3 dives at multiple locations, live and dine there. We have internet facility also. We have onboard refill of the tanks, and with exclusive night dives at different sites.
Thanks a lot, Viraj, for the first presentations. They got actually around 23 points, which is 4.6 from 5. You did it in a really academic PADI way, and I like you more when you're promoting the course of the 45. So you give the candidates more details about the course, and even while also you're promoting the camera, you give them also a lot of details to buy. So thank you very much for the first presentation.
Thank you.
Yeah, I enjoyed it very much. I really liked it. It looked like it was real, like I'm in a class. Nice, very nice.
Do you looks? Why is it looks like it is? It is.
It's more professional than when we did IDC. IDC, we were like sometimes fake, sometimes real, but this
awesome,
professional.
Good work and thanks for everything.
Thank you.
Awesome.
This is a knowledge review of about Tech 50. Good afternoon. Good evening. I'm Viraji. I'm a tech instructor. I've been going through your knowledge review section. I found one of the questions being not answered. It's from Tech 50, Chapter 2, page number 6-24. What are the advantages and disadvantages of the trimix when you're using in Tech 50? This is a Tech trimix. After Tech 50, if you're comfortable with the Tech 50, you can just go for trimix, which will increase your bottom depth and time.
Nice pictures.
As well as you can go for much exploration under when you're especially looking for at the wreck, which is more deeper than more than Tech 50, then you can use this Tech trimix. And then application of the knowledge what we gain today is we'll apply in the Badr resort, and then we'll do following things tomorrow, like setting up the tanks, labeling the tank cylinder properly, mainly the trimix. You need to write TMX, that's a suggest of trimix, and you need to evaluate your oxygen content, maximum operating depth. You have to check before you leave the filling station. The diver name should be on the tank. The writing should be the TMX, followed by oxygen percentage, helium percentage, nitrogen not mandatory, but you need to write like 15, 45, and then 40. This should be there before you leave the filling station. Plus, once you come to the dive site, you need to reassess again. It's also mandatory that you label again as per the assessment what you've done at before the dive. This is the Badr Beach Resort. This is a dive site. We have the tank filling areas, entry, exits, stage for 10 meters, and then it goes up to the depth of more than 100 meters, the depth. Okay. And you need to check the page number 3, question number 2. It's on the page number 6-24. Please kindly interrupt me if you have any questions. I would like to go for a interaction for the discussion about this one. The primary goal is what are the advantages of trimix, taking trimix? It actually reduces the narcosis. Helium is not narcotic as compared to the nitrogen level. So trimix greatly reduces the narcosis level, particularly important for the dives below 50 meters. And shallow or less dives less than 30 meters with poor conditions, where you tend to have poor visibility, or like you're doing any record sort of dive, or you're doing some activity underwater where you'd like to, because of your activity, you tend to consume more of the air. So the chance of nitrogen narcosis is much higher when you're doing some activity less than 30 meters with poor conditions. And then reduced gas density. Its helium is lighter than the oxygen as a nitrogen. Breathing is easier with depths, helps in reduction in CO2 buildup. This carbon dioxide is reduced, reducing muscular effort for breathing. And then third point is reduced oxygen exposure at a depth below 50 meters. It is important to reduce oxygen level in breathing to avoid oxygen toxicity. Helium is a better choice than the nitrogen for reducing the fraction of oxygen for both its non-narcotic and its low gas density properties. What are the disadvantages of this one? Helium is a bit expensive, and helium diffuses. Other part is helium diffuses much faster than nitrogen, so you need to maintain the proper depth. It's not so forgiving like what you're using with the air or the nitrox, because any change in depth faster than the nitrogen, the chance of ICDS is much isobaric contour diffusion is IBCD is more faster.
Just explain this a little bit more if you don't mind. Diffuses usually means that the gases mix. Diffuses means mix, right?
The nitrogen goes into the body. Okay, it's called lipophilic. It's it's attract to the fat. So what happens is the nitrogen goes slowly inside the body, and it stays there for a long duration of time. Whereas it gets accumulated in the fatty areas, nitrogen. whereas helium doesn't get attracted to any part of your body. There's no bonding in between your fat or the tissues or somewhere. It just stays there, helium. The moment when you come up to the level up, the helium just goes off faster than you breathe the nitrogen out. That's called helium diffusion.
Out.
Yeah,
It's
out of the body.
fast.
It goes out of the body. It comes in faster, goes out faster than the nitrogen.
Okay.
Because nitrogen tends to stay in part of your joints, bones, all these muscles. They tend to stay for a longer duration. So this is why you need to stop depth should be accurate. Your buoyancy should be more accurate. If you say 24, you stay at 24 so that you release helium in a proper way. If you skip the depth and go upper level, you'll have it's called isobaric contour diffusion that can cause something like DCS. Mixed dive gas computer is necessary for this trimixes. Trimix require more decompression than the air or nitrox dives. Trimix always require accelerated decompression with higher oxygen gases. You must plan for helium, add into your software, and use a high-end computer, which can give a dive plan at the depth with both helium, oxygen, and air. Theoretical
Can I have
DCS.
one question, if you don't mind?
Yeah. No.
Do you need desktop software for this?
Yes.
Or the application we have on the phone is enough?
Both. It's always better to have both with you. Before you dive, one day before, you make a desktop software. You make your plan. You share the same plan with all your buddies. And the plan should be the same for all. Even if your analysis is showing something different, you stick to the same plan, what you've done before. Even if it's like 18% with Captain Waleed, or me, I'm 19. So I have to stick with whatever we planned one day before. So on the same day, you can go with your other plan. With
the point that Anis is already buy one of his mobile, so he's afraid, I think, to buy another one.
That is expensive software.
Don't worry, it's enough. Fair enough.
Fair enough. Actually, you can in the morning time, you can just plan your runner. This thing, you set it into your computer. Just follow your whatever you plan, the software before the dive. Should be like team. One plan should be for all the team, like that. That's important. Theoretical DCS is rapid diffusion of helium is there. So the chance of DCS is very high in this. If you lose your deco stop, the chance of DCS is much higher with the helium. So rapid diffusion of helium makes it and plus more efficient during the decompression. This is the disadvantage of this helium. Tomorrow we'll be doing in the dive with the help of Trimix. I need to check the fill tanks with the helium properly before we leave the dive shop. Check the percentage of Trimix, and then it's your responsibility for checking the Trimix. The PADI, the material that is this thing after Tech 50, I would like to ask you to go for Tech 65. You can download the PADI app from the Google or the Apple Store, and you can go through this one. And this is the Trimix 65 course. It will help you improve your tech diving skills. What does it have actually? It will learning and reinforce the skills of what we learn in 50. Plus, we'll start all the exercises again. And then we're going to go deeper to 65 meters and do a deco dive. Learn how to plan using your software, using helium as an extra gas. This is the academics in which what we are going to learn in Tech 65. We are like Trimix diving depth ranges up to 65 to max of 75 meters. And we'll plan for exposure planning. This is the academic presentation that we're going to have in the class during the course. Mixing the gases. Argon inflation system is for the dry suit. If you have done at least 20 dry suit dives, you'll be eligible to go for argon inflation system. Okay, so that you know how to inflate and deflate your BC, the wet dry suit. Handling 3 or 4 decompression cylinders and learning about the decompression models, how they work, the Bulham and then VBL and all like that. And emergency procedures, like in case of you lose your tank or suddenly you lose your buoyancy, you lose your depth. So we learn about the emergency procedure, how to do it, and how to use a software and has multi-gas computers.
Very quick question here. When it says have a minimum of 100 dives, log
Yeah.
dives,
Yes, yes.
is this any
No,
specific
in
dive?
total.
In
total.
total.
Okay.
Total experience.
Total experience. It's total experience for you. Not 100 is not for technical. You can have all 100 dives. At least you should have a rescue diver and also Tech 50 this thing license. I like to promote for the using the dive mask. The important consideration for using the dive mask is like a wide visibility used for deep dives. It's a high volume versus low volume mask. We usually use for deep dives high volume mask because it is a big single glass. Double glass is usually useful when you have a visual impairment. You need to have a correction lenses. In that case, you need to have a double glass. And then in the high volume mask, you have a skirting all around the black. And then low volume masks have the side view, which you can use. Secondary consideration is style, color, and the cost. The conclusion is that if you are using Trimix, it actually reduces the narcosis, reduces chance of nitrogen DCS when you're going up, reduces oxygen toxicity at depth and does narcosis at the depth, and reduces gas density for ease of breathing at the depths. I would like to promote to register for those who have finished Tech 50 to go for Tech Trimix 65 after the completion. And don't forget to buy the dive coming up in Jeddah off Abor Coast. It's starting from Blue Reef Divers in Jeddah. If anyone is interested, please let us know. We can enroll in advance, which actually offers 3 dives at 3 different places. Thank you.
We thank you, Viraji. Thank you very much. Shigad, in this presentation was even more nicer and better and more details and more communications with Anis and with others.
Yeah,
so you got 5 here in this presentation. Where we thank you very much. Thank you very much, Viraji, for your preparations. So that's it. Any questions, guys? Anis, do you have any questions to Viraji?
Thank you. It's very nice. I really enjoyed.
So now you know. Now you know the advantages of Trimix.
Yeah, yeah, and disadvantage for us.
It's reducing everything except the money.
That's the only point.
Very nice. Very nice.
Thank you, Anis. Islam.